This is the Spooky 2 remote devices. I'm actually using on myself and another person the DNA repair frequency 528. And I have a suspicion that it works a little bit better than you think. This was on another device using, you can see if you can read that, it's 2750 right there. That is an alleged frequency that supposedly will clobber fleas, and I put some fleas, 5 fleas in the DNA holder, and a few days later, or a couple days later, they pretty much disappeared, and I have not been spraying for them at all, and I don't see any more. They've been gone now for 2 weeks, or more than a week, so that's something else, where I think, I was surprised that that worked. And I don't know if it was a hell of a coincidence or what, but I was trying to get rid of these things for a few months. And since I did that, it worked. So I got this running on 528, which is the DNA repair frequency. I just want to state that sometimes the cheapest, simplest things out there are not realized by people with money. They're too busy. They're too busy with their egos. And I'm not sure if this is accurate stuff I'm giving out here, but just want to present it that it potentially is. It potentially is. Yeah, you just saw me present something about the Spooky 2 remote devices, and I just want to point out something because, it's almost like a general thing, and where people are victimized by their own egos or their pride or whatever the hell it is, and it's something where that's where you get people to bite on something, like say you're marketing a product, you want to actually say you're special because you buy this. You used to see this with cigarette commercials all the time. Hey, you ain't cool unless you smoke this brand, right? You see this all the time, and actually it doesn't really make them better, just it makes them part of it's just a little stupid game that people play, But sometimes I just want to point out, a lot of times people, even with the most wealth, they miss out on the most important things. Now, you always hear that cliche, they're not happy or something. Well, money makes you happy, I know that. But the thing is, you got to actually focus in on what's most important first. And I just have to put this out because a lot of times people get led astray by things all the time. Now, I want to point out that some of these things I've been putting out that are experimental frequency devices for helping to heal the body or rejuvenate the body, I'm beginning to suspect they work a lot stronger than you would think. And a lot of times people will be our naysayers and they'll say no, 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 or maybe they're just hardcore believers and they believe in anything out there. It seems like there's two extremes. Now, I'm being a big-time skeptic on a lot of this stuff, but I just want to point out, a lot of times people with the most money do not know about this because they're surrounded by professionals that are paid a lot of money, and they have to present them with a product that's also going to line their pockets too. In other words, if they present somebody, say for instance, David Rockefeller, if you want to give an example. If you told him like a $300 device can help him live longer or something like that, or doing this or whatever, and you gave out that advice and it did not require the specialties of higher education to know, or something like that was an exclusive patented product or something, well, it's like not lucrative for you to do so. In other words, this is the thing I've always said, just to sum it up, that the wealthy are surrounded by big bucks bullshit all the time. They are. In actuality, they miss out on a lot of stuff. Now, I gotta watch because a lot of times I don't trust a lot of this alternative medicine, this alternative healing, these new ways to do things and stuff. I don't always trust them. And I'm highly skeptical of a lot of stuff. Actually, I tried to start using the Lukovsky coil. I have a portable version of it. And I says, wonder if it's going to restore gray hair more. And I was using it for an hour a day. I backed off to half an hour a day. And lo and behold, I think it does work, because I haven't put anything in my hair to darken it. And I think I was like 100% gray. And it's like I'm a hell of a lot less gray than 100% gray, because my hair is actually light brown. I'm suspecting the stupid thing works. And, that's big news in itself, because if it's working, it's not working by adding a color to your hair. It's working by rejuvenating the cells that it's actually bringing the melatonin into the hair itself. And, how many people know about this? You would think these products would be all over the place, but I can give you some other examples of some things that are very simple, that are unrelated to health, and you wonder why people aren't doing these things. Now, you look at the cleaning products they sell for, the kitchen, the bathroom, and all that type of stuff. They got bubbles that scrub. They got different types of, cleaners. I don't want to put the damn products out there, the names of them, to knock them. But, some of the best stuff that's been around for ages, like simple vinegar added to water, will work better to clean your bathroom or your kitchen, or disinfect, or remove rust stains, or remove, and without actually harming anything, on the surface of whatever you're cleaning. But, everybody's gotten away from using vinegar for a cleaner, pneumonia for a cleaner. A lot of people have gotten away from that. You don't see baking soda sold too much anymore. You only see it in the small boxes. I remember even 20, 30 years ago, they used to come in the big box. It was even more popular back then. People buy these expensive $5 to $10 specialized cleaning products that don't even work as well. And why do they do that? It's advertising, basically. And, it's like that with everything. It's like that in the medical industry, too. And, I'm not going to state that everything in the medical industry is false or has no purpose, but a lot of times these alternative rejuvenation devices, they may actually have some merit. I'm not too sure about this Spooky 2 remote thing. It seems a little too spooky to me, to tell you the truth. That's why they nicknamed it that. It's actually called, I guess the proper name is quantum entanglement. Whereas if you're applying a frequency to your DNA through the DNA holder, it's actually going to the DNA that's specifically coded to your body, no matter where you are located on this earth. So, I'm running a DNA repair frequency right now, but I'm also doing a lot of different things with this, because I'm going to state, though, that I think most people, like I said, there's no money involved in this, and that is a lot why it's not being spread around by the professionals. There's no money involved in it. I use this I have this simple Beck zapper. It's a Bob Beck zapper blood electrifier. This is actually made by Silver Smoke Research, and it's actually a pretty damn good unit that I've been using for quite some time, and it was only about, I think I paid, well, actually the list price on eBay is $150. I paid $75 because I got it on the first bid, plus $5 shipping, because nobody knew what the hell it was. So I actually got a super deal on it, and I got a few of these, and I use these things all the time. What I've noticed, though, with the Beck zapper, and especially on a 3-point, half the human Earth frequency, probably losing people on this video, I've noticed that it gives me a lot more energy. People say no, but I've noticed it does give me a lot more energy. And I think it's fairly effective in knocking out microbes in the body. So, I use a lot of these different things, and I have been using them for years, and I haven't seen any kind of harmful effects. But what I want to point out, though, is like sometimes the truth, like in other words, if Angelina Jolie came out and said that I use Spooky 2 remote, I use a Beck zapper, I use a Lukovsky coil, and this is what, why I say beautiful and young and all this kind of crap like that, everybody in the world would jump on the bandwagon. That's exactly what would happen. But the problem is actually with a lot of these devices, though, is that they're not lucrative to sell. It's actually more lucrative to sell pharmaceutical drugs and things like that to, help heal the body or whatever, assist heal the body, because you're beholden to going through a company that has a patent to do the job. But I also recognize that a hell of a lot of alternative medicine has been greatly exaggerated, and it's not exactly correct in a lot of ways in the way they present it. So, but I do want to state, though, that the big bucks out there most of the time will not be aware of these things because they are surrounded by professional advisors that are making, they're basically like, no matter who they are, even if it's somebody gets around somebody that has a lot of money, even if the professional advisor is a nutritionist, more likely to get a high-profile client, like say I'm giving David Rockefeller as an example, to get a high-profile client like that, the professional nutritionist would have to be in business, established, have a lot of credentials, and he'd be charging a fat fee. And in other words, they wind up being surrounded by people that are of a certain type of clique. And that is where they get all their information from. So a lot of times, even the people with the most power on this earth, the most, wealth, whatever you want to call it, the most status, they do not get the actual correct truth of what's actually the best, bar none, regardless of price. And I have some suspicions that some of these electronic devices are extremely helpful for bringing up health to maximum level, extending life, keeping you from having diseases and things like that, and will basically rejuvenate the body. So, but, like I said, I don't think there's anything lucrative in it. And like I said before, it's almost like, why did some of the simplest things go out the door? A lot of times, some of the simplest things from nature are the most effective. Like, for instance, what do women use on their hair in the islands or in Asia? A lot of times it's coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of the best nourishers of hair going, and of skin, and preserving the skin from within and without, right? But it's not, now it's becoming more of the rage again in the United States, but it's become more advertised. But it's been the truth for centuries and centuries and centuries, yet it was unknown here in the United States until maybe more recently. But a lot of times, like I said, there's no money in it for the... And this is what I nickname. I give them the big bucks bullshit. That's what gets around the wealthy. The big bucks bullshit. And it's like the big bucks bullshit has to sell the wealthy something so the big bucks bullshit can line your pockets. I'm not selling anything. I don't make any of these devices. I'm just saying I use these devices, and I'm trying to determine if they are in fact correct. And some of the claims, I found some of the claims are exaggerated and things like that, but I think they're all somewhat effective and well worth the money. So a lot of times, if I'm using, I've been experimenting now with this Spooky 2 device on DNA repair. Now, am I going to be able to tell if it repaired my DNA? No. I found it really surprising, and maybe it was coincidental completely, where I used an alleged flea killing frequency on to fleas, and it seems like it worked. It makes me think it works. I tried using a Lukowski coil, and I says, the one thing where I'd probably really notice it is, like, say, on the hair, so I didn't put any of that grease or Just for Men stuff or anything like that in the hair, and I haven't done that. I haven't put any of that stuff in my hair since, like, August of 2013. and it's not really gotten. It never went back to as gray as it should be. It got back a little bit. It got back like 50-50. My hair is like light brown, so it's like really kind of hard to tell. It'd be more obvious if my hair was dark brown or black, then you'd really be able to tell. But it seems like the stupid thing worked, and I don't want to call it a stupid thing, but I was surprised that it worked. I've noticed that this Beck electrifier, blood electrifier thing. Now this is one of the zappers I got off of eBay. It's made to the exact specifications that Dr. Robert Beck said to make it. I found this thing does, if it doesn't, do all the things Bob Beck claims it to do, it does seem to provide more energy to the body. And since it's running at the Schumann Earth frequency, which is it's running at half the Schumann Earth frequency, 3.9 hertz. Basically, when it goes positive, negative on the AC wave, that actually net sum is the Schumann Earth frequency of 7.83 hertz. And there's been a number of high-end scientists that say that frequency is actually very healthy for the body. That's why when you're outside and you stand on the beach, you get that frequency directly through your feet. When your bare feet are on the beach, and you feel better, and it's all because of the frequencies coming from the earth, and also the sunlight and the fresh air and things like that. But a lot of times, what's going on is these are something that really can't be sold, can't be marketed, can't be packaged, so it's not emphasized. It's almost like maybe, if I was to talk about what's the best household cleaner going, maybe it's plain vinegar, right? But, how could you make more profits off of that? Well, you have to change the product around. You have to put it in an aerosol spray. You have to add some scent to it. You have to do this. You have to combine it with other ingredients. And then you can make it profitable because the marketing is there with, the cartoons and things like that, and people believe this is the best cleaner going and all that. And actually, a lot of times with anything, the simplest things are actually the best. And I just want to point this out on this day because a lot of times people are getting caught up in their egos, and their egos are their own worst enemies, and that's where they'll overspend, they'll do too much, and actually a lot of times it isn't actually what you spend gets you the most benefit. It's actually when you spend money, you want to look for this key word, and I always call it value. Value. What are you getting for what you spend? And this is really where a lot of times the most wealthy, or even the most famous, they get surrounded by people that feed them bullshit, because these people are looking to secure their future, their revenue themselves, and they have to have an angle to keep in with. Say, I'll give David Rockefeller. I'm not just picking on him, but they have to have an angle where David Rockefeller, for instance, has to have this guy on his retainer, because he's the only one that knows this, or the only one that could do this, or whatever. So he's got to sell him something. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times, the best things going are the simplest and the cheapest. Now, some of the things that are not relatively unknown, or the more recent, are these electronic things, and possibly they are the things that are actually maybe that can actually extend people's lives greatly. And if this works with these portable Rife machines, it may be the solution to minimizing the medical cost and the medical health care crisis that we have going on in the United States. Because actually, I view this healthcare crisis as a ploy to control the American people through healthcare. So stick with the old basics, and the old basics, the tried and true. It's like it can't be wrapped up too much in I guess if Angelina Jolie said, oh, you have to get this, everybody would do it, right? Everybody would do it. And I guess sometimes the basic truth is not that exciting. It's just not that exciting. But the point is, it is true. It is true. And again, I just want to emphasize this again. A lot of times the most wealthy don't do this stuff because they are surrounded by, this is what I used to call them, the big bucks bullshit. They have to have, there's somebody, when you got money, there's always people that gravitate to you. That's why you don't ever want to say you got money. You know, when you do have money, you want to play poor. But people will gravitate to you, and they want to sell you something all the time. And they want you dependent upon them all the time. And, you know, if they're professionals making, you know, several $100,000 a year, they want to have a specific angle only they have that they could sell you. That's why I call them the big bucks bullshit. And this is why a lot of times the most wealthy are shielded completely. They are completely shielded, and they don't know the truth. So some of the stuff I'm putting out here, I don't want to put it out as ironclad fact, but I think in many cases, if it doesn't live up to the high claims that some of these alternative devices seem to put out, they probably still do have a hell of a lot of merit for what the cost is. And that's the whole thing. Value. In other words, maybe it's not the be-all, cure-all of anything, but on the other hand, it probably has a lot of value for the money.